Tavern Keeper is now in early access, and I had the pleasure to play this game for the last 2 weeks before its early access release, and this is my 40-hour review, aka it is time for another episode of Mo Thoughts. Now, with that said, a few things I have to mention before we are jumping into this. First things first, this is the early access version of the game. That means there are things missing. There are also gameplay elements missing and so on and so forth. So this is not the whole product. And I will do another review when it finally releases in 1.0. And normally I'm always very careful with doing reviews on early access releases in general because, well, as I said, there's tons of stuff missing, and I feel like this is not the full vision the developers had in mind. But on the other hand, well, they are already asking money for it. So I'm always trying to find a balance between understanding that this is not the full product, but also there's money involved. But the interesting part here is Tavern Keeper is one of those games where you are just surprised how much there is there, and more importantly, how much quality there's there. Yes, the game was in development for nearly 11 years, lots of iterations, lots of changes, of course, and this is by Greenheart Games, the creators of Game Dev Tycoon. Yeah, that game, which came out over a decade ago, and maybe some people have played who are watching this right now. But now they are back with their own take on the tavern management genre, and I can already hear some people saying, oh man, another one of those. I have seen so much of those low quality games in that genre, and looking at the graphics, yeah, I kind of have a feeling I know where this goes. Okay, let's talk about the elephant in the room, the graphics. I know low poly is a choice, and for a lot of people, that choice means that there was probably not a budget for better graphics. I do not believe that's the case here. Because when you are looking closer, they are putting so much details into this game. It's rather insane. Like, it can easily keep up with some AAA games when it comes to animations and when you are zooming in closer with the details of your tavern, especially when you realize that everything in this game has an animation. No, seriously, even the icons when you are hovering over stuff do have animations. Every animation of the people who are working in your tavern, the staff, right? Or the people who are coming in, or other NPCs who are walking through your tavern because they have some interactions there. They are all detailed, animated down to the core, and you are like, holy moly, how long have you been sitting on this? This is insane. So to say that, oh yeah, low poly graphics probably means no budget for that is just wrong. It is absolutely wrong because you really start to love the details. And there is also another reason why they probably opted in for low poly graphics is because it has to run on a lot of systems because they are doing something which leads us to the first gameplay element, and that is the workshop, or the designer workshop to be a little bit more precise. You can edit everything in this game, right? You can put down a table and then you can put tons of stuff on the table. You can put down other items and then just add more items to it. Very much like the Sims game, right? If you love to decorate in the Sims game, well, this game is just made for you. And even further than that, they even have a design shop where you can just create new items and then you can save them. And you can even give the codes of your item to other people. So the community can just come together, and then the best creation can have the codes, people can download them and then have those items in the game. There's also an area where you can see even the creation of community members in the game and content creators in the game, and then you can just decide to utilize that in your tavern, right? So if you love to decorate in these kind of games to just create the tavern of your dreams, then this game is already made for you. It is definitely one of the biggest features in the game, which has nothing to do with the management part. But I hear you say, Mo, well, I'm not really the decorator myself. I came actually here for the management part. What's up with that? Well, good news, a lot. No, seriously, even though there are still some parts missing, there is already a lot of things you have to take care of because they are taking the old school fantasy tavern quite seriously in regards when it comes to what you can do here, right? In a lot of games, when you are playing a tavern manager, you are literally just giving out drinks, and you of course do that in Tavern Keeper, and there are tons of drinks you can buy from the world map, and they have all like different star ratings there for different people because believe it or not, the people who are coming into your tavern are not just humans. They are fantasy beings, and they all have their different needs, likes, and dislikes. So you want to look out for that as well. But again, there is more than just giving out drinks. You have to have a kitchen later on with chefs who are cooking. You design your own food, right? Like when it says, okay, you have a soup, now you can decide what you are putting in the soup, and everything is again super detailed with the animations when you were putting it together, and it's just a joy to watch that. And then later on you can also have accommodations, so you're becoming more or less like a hotel. And on the roadmap they have already made clear that they also want to add a shop portion to the tavern, so your tavern is much more than just a tavern in you giving out drinks, right? You are also there for entertainment. There are tons of entertainment opportunities people want to utilize. They use the tavern to socialize or, well, do other not so great things, but we will talk about that in a minute and what that means. But speaking about the people who are living in your tavern, let's talk about the people you hire. They all have different perks. They do have different levels. Unfortunately, right now, they are not leveling up, um, which is apparently coming later. And later on, they can also gain more and more perks depending on the work they are doing and um, some decisions you can make, right? I already have somebody which wanted to be an entertainer, they wanted to be a comedian, and let me tell you, his jokes were abysmal, like absolute awful. But I said, "Hey, dude, nah, you were great. You were doing awesome." And now he likes to serve, right? Even more than he did before because he is entertaining the people while doing so. So you will have those events where you can slowly upgrade the people who are working in your tavern. And as I said, depending on the people who are coming into your tavern, they have also different needs and even fears. So that means when they are seeing something they don't like that much, they will give you a lower rating, which is not great. But let's talk about another big feature of the game, and that is the RPG element. Now, I think the easiest to explain this for people who have already played some management and strategy games is if you've ever played RimWorld and you remember the storytellers, they have something similar here. Now, it's not a storyteller in itself, is that sometimes just NPCs or events happening in your tavern, and then you can see it here in the background. A book will pop up, and it's all voice acted. They have a fantastic voice actor. They even have different voice actors for different languages, which is, again, also insane. And they're telling you what's going on, and then you can make decisions. And depending on your decisions, you will have a good, neutral, or bad outcome. And sometimes you have to roll the dice. And your tavern keeper, the character you are playing, is not in the game itself, but you are still there, right? Like you exist and you have also stats. I'm very good at cunning. I put a lot of points in cunning. And for me, it's easier to roll on a cunning event. And, well, when you roll and you are successful, good job. You managed the dice roll. But when you fail, the game is offering you a choice. Do you want to retry, or do you want to accept that you failed? Wait, why would the game give me a retry? That's I can just cheat here, right? Over and over till I win. Yes, but also no. You can see it in the video that I basically accumulate ink in my medallion in the middle. And the more ink I accumulate, aka I do retries, the more the chaos event will hit my tavern afterwards. Wait, chaos event? Yes. After you are done with the re-rolling, or just sometimes randomly, there might be a chaos event in your tavern. And that doesn't necessarily mean that that is something bad. It can be something positive. It can be something more neutral. Or if you are unlucky, a dragon is just burning down your whole tavern in one foul swoop, and that would be one of the worst chaos events probably in the game. So there are tons of different events which then can occur, and at the beginning of the game, of course, they are much more manageable. They're not that mean that they are throwing some really, really bad ones at you immediately. But again, they're definitely fun. They keep you on your toes, and there are tons of moments in the game where you have to react to certain events happening, bar fights, of course, and NPCs and quests which are coming in, you have to manage. Like, the more you're playing this game, the more you realize just what a love letter this game is. Like, every single thing in this game was handcrafted with love, and the people behind it just shows so much care. It's it's kind of weird to say this, but I would put Tavern Keeper in the same area like Hades or Silk Song and other amazing indie games which came out this year, where you just feel the love oozing out of that game. And it's not just a quick cash grab or something they had to put on the market, but actually something they really believe in, and they just wanted to make the best out of it, right? And so after the 40 hours in the game, I can already say, even in early access, there's tons of stuff here. There are 3 big maps, campaign wise. Every map, of course, is also available in free play, so you can play as much as you like. Then, of course, the workshop is a huge thing, and they already have a roadmap out till 1.0 where they're telling you not everything, but quite a lot about the features which are still coming to the game. And they have a plan. They have showed before that they can make an amazing game. And I am really just I'm happy with the game. Like, it's definitely one of my feel good games right now. So with that said, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like. If you are also new to the channel, you might want to consider to subscribe to the channel if you like strategy, management, and building games. That's what we are focusing on here. And if you still have some questions or something to add, let me know down below in the comments. With that said, thanks so much for watching. Stay safe